This is a video for the new generation. For you as a son or a daughter, you are coming into the position in your family to take over the responsibility and the leadership of the family itself, but also of the existing family office. And what I want to share with you today is just the question, when is a family office a family office? And I want to encourage and empower you to raise the question. Or it could be also the question, what is the evolution of the family office itself? Maybe there are some interesting points and some inspirations for you to consider in regards of your family office. So the whole world is talking, many people are talking about family offices. And the term itself, family office, is a very blaming, or nobody can clearly articulate what is actually a family office, because so many wealth managers and service providers and others use the term family office. But when it comes to the family itself, the single family office, there are often a lot of misunderstanding. What is actually the clear responsibility of the family office itself? Yes, maybe you will clearly articulate, yes, that's the main responsibility of the family office is just to grow the money, to grow and to preserve the assets, the fortune, what you have in the family. From my perspective, the family office's responsibility is just to enhance and to improve the life of each family member and of the entire family. And money, by and large, is, in the end of the day, just the instrument, the rocket fuel to do so. And to be honest, most of the family offices around the globe are pure investment bureaus. I would say nothing wrong on this, because the family office industry, call it this way, by and large is a very new industry, but it will be stepped in the next level of their maturity. And through this wealth transfer, what we are facing now, these 100 trillion or 140 trillion, you name it, doesn't really matter, brings up the question, okay, is our family office, what we have, actually prepared to navigate us as a family through these wealth transfer from one generation to the next? And undoubtedly, you, if you watch this video, and it's much appreciated that you spend the time with me, this generation, like you, they have very little in common with your parent generation, or with the parent generation itself, the boomers, the silent generation. You have other ideas, or this generation, these Gen Zs, millennials, and their upcoming generation, they have other ideas what they want to do with the money, with the wealth. And they shift their focus from the financial capital assets toward to the qualitative capital assets, to the human and intellectual capital assets inside of the family. And that means, it's also a question, what do you actually do on actions and initiatives to manage your qualitative capital assets, the human and intellectual capital assets, as well as you manage the financial capital assets? Maybe it could be very few managing the assets on the qualitative capital sides, the family members. The most focus is on managing the financial capital assets. Once again, nothing wrong on this. But if you don't manage just your qualitative capital assets in the right manner and in the right pathway, the management of the financial capital assets is by and large waste of time. I'll give you just a pure example. Today, your family office or the most family office, yes, they are confronted with a lot of investment opportunities. A lot. You can invest in there and there and stuff like that. From my point of view, you can invest today in a lot of mediocre investment opportunities. Once again, nothing wrong on this. If these investment opportunities reflects your vision and your family strategy for the next generation. But what about to have access to the best of the best investment opportunities, to the best of the best fund managers, private equity managers, you name it. Many of them are asking, it doesn't really matter whether do you bring 500 million, a billion, 5 billion on the table. They raise the question, okay, why we should open the door for you? How is your family office operating in a professional manner or just like the most? But to be clear on this point, I want to blame all with these points, and I want also complain. I will give you just an inspiration to consider to go on an evolutionary pathway for your family office, because in the end of the day, your family office is just your vehicle to fulfill the family strategies, mission, and vision over generations, but also to make sure that you as a family have just a multi-generational continuity. And here's the first point, what I bring to you on the table. The family office, in my view, is a business. It is a pure family business. It is not just in bureau or not just in small private equity like vehicle. It is the next family business. And it should be evolved, it should be improved, it should be enhanced. So the question is just, do we acting with our family office in a quite professional manner, like as in business? Is the family officer, what we have today on board, very capable of to act just like an chief executive officer or like a chief operating officer? It is a great idea to consider that the family officer itself could be the co-CEO of the family's leadership team. Maybe it is the case at this time. Maybe that isn't just the case at this time. But please consider, if the family office itself will fulfill the role as a vehicle to fulfill or to bring you to this destination, what you have set for your family. And it is an ongoing and repeatedly destination. Point number two, and just as an inspiration, maybe if you have watched one of my latest videos on this, it's just there are 3 stages of the evolution. Stage number 1 is the investment office. The responsibility is to preserve and to growing the money, mostly to growing the money. Stage number 2 is that what we are facing now at this period of time is that the family office itself will be in office of the trustees, because the money is mainly lay on the trustees. And stage number 3 is the pure family office. And I want to help you to describe this a little bit clearer, but you can also improve and make speed on the process of the evolution itself. Stage number 3 is the inside of the family office. There is a learning curriculum implemented to help you as a family to grow in skills on the human and intellectual capital side, that you as a family are capable of to fulfill your purpose, your strategy, or I don't use the term legacy, I use the term impact. What kind of impact do you want to achieve over the next generations? What is it, clearly? And through this implementation of this learning curriculum, you will be able to get the right skills, to get the right information, what you need. And also, through this learning curriculum, you bring cohesiveness in your family, but learning with your father, with your siblings, with your children together, but also in a different pathway, brings you together as an organization. And the learning curriculum also is a very good instrument. That is what I mentioned a minute ago, to form your family as an organization, because in the end of the day, the family is an organization. And the point is, the role of the family officer will be evolve itself. If you are in the third stage of this evolutionary path, what I have described to you a little bit is just a question, how these individual, what we have now in the family office, she or who is he just capable of to fulfill this role? To implement for us as a family a broader learning curriculum, is he or she capable of to act as a chief learning officer for us? How we can improve our intellectual and human capital, what we have in the family, also if we are growing over the next generations. And that brings me back to the point is these kind of responsibilities to consider the question how we can evolve our family office is mainly the responsibility of the G2s. And what I recognized more often, that very, very few family members, G2, G3, G4, have a clear indication what their responsibilities, what their issues, what their topics are to address, but also to fulfill. But I will make a separate video on this because it is very necessary to bring this into public, but also in front of these new families, family members. They are becoming in the position to take over the power and the leadership of the family itself. To have a clear framework, what is actually my role, my responsibility in this generation, and what should be done to prepare the next generation. What kind of work should be done that the next generation, the G3s, the G4s, are prepared to take over in the beginning and make the things happen and implement this. Coming back to the family office issue. It is just even better to consider in this pathway. In some cases, maybe it's very hard to consider the question, okay, how we can evolve our family office just as a learning organization, or when is the family office just a pure family office to serve us as a family. And there's one main critical point. Is the family office capable of, but also have the responsibility of, to serve each family member as a client? I will repeat it. Is the family office, the family officer, capable of, and have he or she the clear responsibility to serve each family member as a client? Not as a son, not as a daughter, not as a father, not as a grandfather and the grandparents, stuff like that, as a client. And that brings these family office just I would call it just in a new professional manner, in a position to ask better questions, what the family needs, but also vice versa, the family client, the son, the daughter, the children, you name it, have a clear expectation what they can expect from the family office itself. Maybe that is also an interesting question what you can arise. Serve the existing family office, the existing family officer, us as a client, or just as a family member. There's a huge difference. I hope these points, these thoughts, a little bit of an inspiration for you. And once again, I will come back to you with a separate video on the roles and responsibilities, what each generation should have, should fulfill, and take responsibility for, and to make this multi-generational continuity built up on a strong and deep foundation. I would be more than happy to come into in discussion with you on this very important topic. I would be more than happy to read your comments. I would be more than happy if you hit the subscribe button if you find it interesting, to give me the opportunity to bring broader expertise, broader knowledge in front of you, because my mission is to support you, to support the new generation of families, the rising gen, if they are becoming in the position or is on the pathway to take over the leadership and the power of the family, to help you, to help them in a systematic structure and pathway, not by chance. Help them more with the how, not with more information, because information is still there. The question is just, how do you implement this? How do you execute this repetitively? That is just my mission, to build up a new league of sovereign families, resilient powerhouses over generations, and that each of these families have a very strong foundation for multi-generational continuity for the next 4, 7, maybe 10 generations. Is it possible? Of course, it is possible. Until next, be great.